Comedy Mushroom Cult Podcast. Man, it's a hot one, as Rob Thomas, or Santana featuring Rob Thomas would say. It is fucking hot. Might as well be walking on the sun if we're more of a Smash Mouth crowd today. I don't know, we're kicking it. We're kicking it, new school, we're kicking it school. I don't know. I'm recording this a day before it comes out because today's just when I decided to get everything done. Apparently, because I got a job and I had to do all of like my training for it. And I don't want to say, I'm not going to tell you exactly what my job is, but like it's involving like not caring for it, but more like supervising children, which is wild because like they'll let anybody who can pass a background. Like I have never like committed or I've never been caught committing a crime. I've never sexually abused anybody. I've never done anything where like I wouldn't pass a background check, which I don't know what it would take to not pass a background. Like I understand that like criminals wouldn't be able to pass a background check, but like I don't know. I feel like that's a pretty baseline situation that like even if you have to like wonder whether or not you can pass a background check, you would just be like, nah, I'm not even going to apply for this job. Like you have to do it because you don't want weirdos around kids, right? Like that's understood. It's a mad world, but I mean, if we wanted weirdos around kids, we would just like take them to church or I don't know, go to fucking have them on the train for all day or something. Like, you don't want, like, authority figures being weirdos, but, like, you also kind of have to be some sort of weirdo to, like, want to spend all your time with children. Like, I understand education is important. I mean, I live with an educator. I am an educator. Officially. Like, that's my job title. It has educator in it. And you know, I took a 3-hour course while I was watching another podcast and taking another course at the same time. And I scored 90 out of 100 on the one, and it was like 100 out of 100 on the other while doing them at the same time. So I don't want to say that, like, it's easy because I haven't had to do any of, like, the actual in-person work. But, I mean, I don't know. They make it seem like it's way, way harder than it is. And yes, children can be a problem, and, like, the stakes are so high. I think that's where the problem... I was just talking to Ashley about this the other day, of, like, the delta between people who think that teaching is easy and teachers who think it's, like, the hardest thing in the world. Like, I think that they should, like, job swap for a day and then just be like, oh, different strokes for different folks. Like, I don't know. I can't sit and look at Excel sheets all day, but I also hate dealing with adult children when I'm working at a coffee shop. So, like, maybe I should be in a job where I say words to a crowd or to nobody in my living room and it goes out to the internet. Like, that's maybe what I should do is something where I don't need to take the input of other people and then just, like, do my own fucking stupid thing. But no, like, that doesn't pay the bills right now, so I have to get, like, a real job to do in the meantime. But I'm excited. It'll be fun. I'll be able to be outside. It won't be the same every single day. That's my least favorite part of any job, is how mundane it gets. And, like, I understand. Like, you love waking up and looking at spreadsheets and, like, whatever your little sales thing is. Like, you like hitting your number and going home and having your wife be like, hey, sweetie, you did a great job. You made that number. You made sure that number was correct. Keep making that number. And whatever it is, it's all a number. Like, whatever widget you sell, or like I worked with when I was driving truck for the charity that I worked for and ran into somebody's house. The guy, like, used to sell forklifts, and that was, like, his thing. And he's like, you had to be very knowledgeable to sell forklifts. It's like, you just have to hit the number, guy. Like, that's all it is. Doesn't matter what you're selling. Just, like, know what you're doing. Oh, you're an HR person. Okay, you got to make sure that you hire enough people or that you fucking fire enough people. You got to make sure that you're in your quotients. It's all making sure you hit a benchmark so somebody else can make a shitload of money. And that's kind of like, I'm excited to be in a job that's got like not real benchmarks. Like, and I think that's the hard thing for people to wrap their head around, like why people don't think teaching is like a hard. You can't like qualify it quantify it. Like, you can't quantify it very easily. Like, you can do test scores, but like some people can't pass tests. And like there's that Daniel Tosh joke of like, oh, you're bad at like the part that shows like what you know. Sure, like that's, yeah, like some people get like test anxiety. And like you can see how good a teacher is based off of how they, but like you should like have like starting metrics versus ending metrics. Like how much growth is there? Not like just like a standardized test, because people are different. Like they want everybody to be the same. Whoever they are, capital T, they. The Rothschilds, the fucking, the Illuminati, the, you know, the Freemasons, like the ones that you're, like the Fraternal Order of the Eagles, or like the Moose Club, or whatever, Elks, the Moose Club, the Elks, they want everybody to be the same, because they want you to be stupid and just like put together their widgets so they can make their number go up. Like they want to make sure your number is just putting shit together, or like going to die overseas while they fight over like oil or probably water rights is really what the big one is right now. But I only know that because I did a project on it in high school, like not high school, college. And again, like another proof that like everything, it's just like ethereal. Like you can't put a number on it. Like my final college writing project was like a 2-page paper on securing water rights, and like how companies are like, I forget what it was, 15 years ago that I was in this class, so forgive me for not knowing everything right off the top of my head. We'll come back to the story, but like I did see somebody who was like online and being like, oh, you gotta be perfect all the time or people will call you out on your bullshit, which like the thing that's super annoying is that like when you make a mistake, it helps the algorithm more. So like people are making mistakes on purpose, especially when there's like numbers involved. They'll like say the math is wrong just so people comment like the numbers were right on the thing, but the way you said it was wrong. And it's like, yeah, you fucking dipshits, you're just making it bump up the algorithms. Like you're not smart. They did it on purpose, and if they didn't do it on purpose, they're just like randomly a genius, right? So whatever. You don't need to know everything. You don't need to have an opinion on everything. Sometimes a woman's boxer knocks the face off of another woman, and like they're just born like with Andre the Giant disease. Okay, I don't care if she's a real quote-unquote biological I don't care what kind of woman she is. She identifies as a woman, and they want to put it, like if she passes all of these tests and she gets in the ring, fine. Let her beat the faces off of other women. They don't have to fight her. The beginning of the new Roadhouse, fucking, I can't believe I'm gonna like equate Olympic women's boxing with the new Roadhouse. But Post Malone won't fight Jake Gyllenhaal because like he knows that he's got a thing. If you're going against somebody who you're like, hey, like throw a fit beforehand. Like don't go in there and get your face beaten off and then like go and then throw a fit. You know, it doesn't make, whatever. You can be wrong. You're allowed to be wrong. You're allowed to have opinions. But like you don't need to. The reason why you're not in an important job is because you're not important. Like, I feel like people have forgotten that. Like, the reason why, like, you have to clock into work and, like, the people who are, like, making decisions, you don't know where they're at 99% of the time. Like, yeah, they're your representative or they're the CEO of your company. But go to their office. Let me know when they're there. You don't know where the fuck they are. They're playing golf. That's part of their job. They're eating lunch with, like, the people who own other people in fucking Uzbekistan or something. Like, that's what people who actually run things do, and like whose opinions actually matter. And like, I don't even think they have opinions. They just have like an end goal, and whatever it takes to do it, that's what they do. And if part of that is keeping us distracted by arguing over Olympic women's boxing, not to undermine it, like, these women have like spent their entire lives trying to get really good at something, and only get a chance at it every 4 years, and then you get your face blown off in 45 seconds. That's got to be sad. That's got to be a real bummer. But also, I don't know, just don't take the fight. I guess you don't do it. I don't know. If you can't hang, like, it's 2024. Whether the boxer was born a woman or not, she's a woman now, and she's fucking beating the brakes off of other women. All right, that's a thing that you have to worry about now. Like, you can't just like roll into like women's boxing and just be like, okay, here we go, we're throwing hands. Like, it's whatever. There should be weight classes, so like she has to hit this. Whatever, who cares? Water rights. Like, companies were going into like Africa and other countries and like just taking the watering holes and like water, like fresh water sources that all of these like tribes and lesser known, I guess, I don't know if that's the, like, all of these like less developed, that's the word we're looking for, they haven't gone, their society hasn't gone through puberty yet. They're not quite done with it. What a weird no, like, they're just like they just don't have the setup to defend themselves, and like they make deals where like, oh yeah, you can use our it's like how we bought New York with like fucking beads and like lima beans and like feathers or whatever, and then they were just like, yeah, whatever, stupid white people, like, ownership isn't a thing, we own the means of production. And then like then smallpox happened and like genocide, you know, like stuff like that, where they did like the same thing, where like, let's just say the Coca-Cola Corporation owning like Dasani or whatever, let's just say, just out of nowhere, right? Like, don't sue me if for some reason this gets to like, if one of the handful of people who listens to this is like in Dasani corporate or Coca-Cola corporate, like, you've already done enough crazy shit, like setting up, like, whatever, you guys know, all right? You've already done it. That's why we're using you as an example. You're the fucking devil, okay? Get over it. But like, what they'll do is they'll like go in there and be like, hey, we want to use this watering hole, and they're like, we'll be allowed to use it, right? And it's like, yeah, the sales agreement says you won't, but like, we'll let you. So just like, don't worry about the fine print. And they're like, great, we don't even speak this language, we don't know what a lawyer is, and like, contracts mean nothing to us. So like, they sign this contract, right? And then, like, the fucking polar bears from Coca-Cola show up, put up fences, and, like, have, like, snipers there, shooting people trying to go get water. And they're like, hey, this is where we get water. And he said we could have it. And they're like, oh, no, right here it says you can't have it. It's ours now. And then, like, they use that to make Dasani. So, like, it's that kind of thing, like water rights. That's the only... And, like, at the end of The Big Short, they talk about the one guy... that what's his nuts Christian Bale plays, the guy with like the wonky eye. That's my favorite Christian Bale role, by the way. Like, he rocked it as Batman, great as Batman. American Hustle, I love that movie. Anybody who doesn't like American Hustle, get a fucking life, okay? It rules. It's so much fun. You don't know what's happening. Yeah, it's kind of based on a true story. The guy who plays Hawkeye, who got hit by that snowplow, Jeremy Renner, right? Yeah, Jeremy Renner. He got hit by a snowplow. Like, he got hit by that Algerian boxer lady. Like, that's what happened to him, and he hasn't been right since. He can't shoot fucking arrows anymore, so they had to get the other chick from Pitch Perfect 3 to do it. But no, they like he had like that little like slight wonky eye and like a weird like affectation, like he might have been like autistic or something, but he was great at numbers and like bet on things crazy wise and like increase people. Like, he was like one of the first credit default swap people, which like is evil, but like he made his people money and that's his job. But like, that's what he's like wagering on, his water rights. So I don't know, get a water filter, I guess. Get a Life Straw. That might be the only... Back up on... Just, like, load up on Life Straws. Maybe that's what I'll go do after this. I gotta check my car anyways. I haven't checked it in a week. I'll go buy a Life Straw just in case. Are my armpits sweaty? You can't really tell. Hey, shout out to this company of shirts. I don't know what company. Goodfellow. That's what it is. I didn't even have to check because I looked at it this morning. Because I have some True Classic tees. It's not a sponsorship. I want them to say, hey, True Classic. If for some reason that lawyer at Coca-Cola gets a hold of this and like knows somebody at True Classic, I love your shirts. Send me some shirts. I would love to like just completely be owned by True Classic tees. Like, and same thing with Coca-Cola. There's nothing better than a crisp, refreshing Diet Coke. At the end of the day, I don't care how many South American countries you had to overthrow to make Diet Coke that good. Whatever it was. Like, that's what those people, that's the decisions these people are making. It's like, we need to overthrow 4 South American countries to make sure that Taylor Swift can have Diet Cokes in commercials to sell for us. And it's got to be good. She's not going to put her name and face on something that's not good. She doesn't care. She doesn't care either. Like, it doesn't matter how many bodies need to pile up for Diet Coke to be this good. Taylor demands it be a good product if her name and face are going to be on it. Sure, we're paying her millions of dollars. That's not the important part. It's got to be a good product. It can't be something that she won't eat or won't drink and won't be seen drinking. Like, Kylie Jenner broke up a fucking riot with like a Pepsi or something, and that's not going to happen. You're not going to break up a riot with Pepsi. An ice-cold Coca-Cola during a rally or a protest or a riot, whatever side you're on it. Like, let's say it's January 6th, right? You say that's a rally. You're breaking the government. I might say that it's a riot. But, like, hey, when the cops kill a random black person, and now we're discounting, we're smoothing over this part, okay? Like, it's part of American culture. I don't need to go into why it's bad and, like, whatever, right? You're an adult. You can figure this out. I would hope that you understand nuance if you're paying attention to this podcast. Like, the fact that, like, numbers of you listen to this and, like, can, like, apparently not be dickheads and like message me about like all the myriad things that we like talk about on here. Good use of myriad. God damn it. I'm just throwing myself off of my own good rants here. But like, thank you for not messaging me. Like, we cover some heavy stuff here and try to do it kind of flippantly, and I appreciate how smart you are. That you understand that it's coming from like a good place. So thank you for that. But like, if there's like a rally or a protest over a cop killing somebody, that's a protest out of my eyes. Some shit's gonna get broken in that protest. That's fine. But to the cops, that's a riot, right? So like, whatever part of that you're on, Pepsi's not breaking up that riot. But if somebody's like, hey, you want to like have a Coke and a smile, like fucking just like have a Coke. It's nice, it's smooth, it's refreshing. But I'm a Pepsi man myself, right? Like, there's no doubt Coke is the best one. It's the best. It's the tip top, the best pop. It's pop, not soda. Get the fuck over it. Midwest, I don't give a shit. Go fuck yourself. All right, it's soda, it's pop. I don't care. But just it's pop. All right. But Coke is the best one, right? It's like Coke, and then the rest of them are fighting for second. But I grew up in, like, lower middle class, probably upper lower class. I'm from, like, a blue-collar family. We drink Pepsi in our house. And you can tell that it's Pepsi because, like I said, Coke's smooth. You can, like, tell that it's, like, nice, refreshing. You drink and you go, ah, right? Fucking Santa Claus does it during Christmas time. He's excited for milk, cookies, Coca-Cola, and polar bears, right? I want a Pepsi. There's nothing like that crispness of a Pepsi. It's got a bite to it. It's got that blue collar. I just worked 8 hours and my fucking skin's cracking and it's dirty and I just need some sort of flavored suds down my throat, and I want to know that it's there. I want it to burn my throat while it does that. It's got to have that bite to it, and that's what I like. I want to be reminded that I'm putting poison into my body, but like it's still refreshing. Like that's the problem with like Diet Coke and Coke. It's poison. Like it fucking strips rust off of things. Like you're supposed to use Coke to get like rust off of whatever, right? Or like clean your toilet. There's nothing that does it better, right? But like you drink it and you're like, whatever. It's a Coke. It's gonna be good. I'm gonna feel good. I'm excited. But no, Pepsi gives you that bite, so you know it's still bad for you. But like you do it anyways. Like it's the perfect amount of any sort of like when you smoke weed, right? You can't. There's no such thing as a free lunch. You have to pay some price to have enjoyment, right? That's built into you from day one. You can't. You have to work hard to have fun. You gotta earn it. So to earn like your hard working Pepsi, you have to fucking break your back at work. You get home, you're like, hey, honey, how you doing? Oh, shit, there's an ice cold Pepsi in the fridge. You drink it, it's got that nice little bite at the end. You know that you're poisoning yourself. You should have just had water. You worked for 8 hours. You didn't drink enough water. No, but you need to have that Pepsi. It's got to have that bite to it. It needs to burn a little bit on your dry throat as it's going down. You need to know. You're going to have like a little bit of like a stomach. It's going to hit it's the same pH as the stomach acid in your stomach. It's battery acid, right? But you know it. It's fine. And it's a reminder. That's why you don't, like, you can have 6 Diet Cokes in a day. No problem. Like, your insides will be stripped. Like, you're not going to be able to paint the inside of your stomach ever because you're using paint thinner. Like, there's just, like, a layer of paint thinner right on your stomach lining, right? Where if you have Diet, you can have, like, 2 Diet, like, I've tried maybe. Like, I'll get a 2-liter of Diet Coke, and this isn't good. And it's not, like, something I do regularly, but, like, I'll go to 2-liter of Diet Coke. You polish that bitch off in like a night. Maybe the next morning, if like you have that Diet Coke in the morning with like your fucking breakfast, like you're like you have that. I'm not drinking a Diet Pepsi in the morning. I haven't even like the wind hasn't seen my face yet. Like I can't. We're not signing up for a Diet Pepsi right away because we know it's not good. Like you can have like 2 or 3 at a time, and you're like, ooh, something's not right. And that's what you're supposed to have. Pepsi has put the guardrails on it for you. And the fucking Pepsi challenge, it's not whether you can tell the difference between Pepsi and Coke. You can definitely tell it. The people who take the Pepsi challenge are fucking idiots. I almost used a word I'm not supposed to use, but you know what word I was going to use. It's you can't do it, right? Like you can't use the word. But like you don't take the Pepsi challenge. They only show you the dipshit. Who takes the Pepsi challenge? Dipshits. It's the same people who answer polls when people call them. It's the idiots who like don't know how to say no. Like, oh, Pepsi challenge, and then like you're like, ooh, I can't really tell. You can tell, you just don't want to hurt the person's feeling because you know they're with Pepsi. And if you're with Pepsi, you fucking know that it's trash. I had to take a sip of water because I was talking about dry, cracked throats, and I have one. If you couldn't tell in my voice, but I don't know. That's like when I was at Skyline. What is that, 2 weeks ago now? Like that, I asked for like a Diet Pepsi or a Diet Coke, and she's like, it's Diet Pepsi, is that fine? It's like, yeah, it's fucking fine. It's nighttime. Like if it was morning, or like if I hadn't already like had the world beat me down a little bit, yeah, I would want a Diet Coke. Like if I just rolled out of bed, had nothing going on, and the first thing I was gonna drink is between like, I mean, drink water, it's better for you, but like, have that Coke. Have the Diet Coke. It's great. That's a great first beverage in the day. It's not good for you, but like you're just like, oh, I'm just starting the day with a Diet Coke. Like this is gonna be a great day. Fucking silver bullets. Like they need to reclaim that. Fuck Coors Light. Nobody likes it. The mountains turn blue because that's what color you are. Like you're blue on the inside. You're depressed. Blue. I'm sad. But. Diet Coke, silver bullets, that's what we're taking. But Pepsi, like, that's for, like, when the world's beat you down a little bit. Like, the people who run the world, like we were talking about, they're not drinking Pepsi, they're drinking Coke. It's that fucking part in Walk the Line where they're in the basement of the prison and he's like, have you tried this water? And he's like, I'm a Coca-Cola man. Like, you can drink Coke fucking all goddamn day. You can't do that with Pepsi. And thank you, Pepsi, because otherwise the world would be a worse place. But Coke is iPhone. You know, it's for dilettantes and fucking idiots who can't, like, think for themselves, right? Like Pepsi, think differently, or whatever. Think different. I think that's Apple. Whatever. Coke is Apple. Pepsi is like fucking Microsoft, where you're like, yeah, I could do the one that's better, but like, this is just what I do. All right, this is, yes, my life would be way easier and like shit would be like higher tech and be like more in like yes, I get it, but like this does the job. This is utilitarian. It gets the job done. It gets everything out there. I can snip and clip and put things together. I can answer emails. I can write things on my pirated fucking Microsoft Office. I can like use the Google Suite. Like, we could do all of that. I don't need the fucking shiny slick. Like, I don't need fucking star swipe, heart swipe, fucking fizzles into through like fucking videos and shit. Just like, give me what I need, and let's move on. You don't need all the extra bells and whistles, all right? Coca-Cola, all right? Apple, all right? We just need Microsoft and Pepsi, and that's what we need. That's the level that we need. We don't need to be up here. We don't need to be at that top level. Top level, that's just gonna like, your fucking adrenaline's gonna, like, your kidneys are gonna give out if you just are at that top level all the time. You need to be at 75%. 75% is exactly where you need to be. That's what you're getting paid. If you're a woman, you're only getting paid 77%. Allegedly or whatever. I don't know. Some people say that that's not real. Everything that I've seen kind of shows that it is, but like, that's fine. Make the argument that it isn't. The other 23% is when you are from Algeria and can knock faces off of people. That's where all the other 23% have gone. Like, you got one, ladies. Get behind her. She's gonna like jump up into the men's league and fucking like wreck some dudes. Like, you got one. Good for you. What a weird why. Okay. But like, the world wants you at 100%. If you're doing 75, like, yeah, who are we trying to beat? There's not a scoreboard on this shit. Just be 75%. 3 out of 4, that ain't bad. I think they made songs about that, saying that. Like, if you don't always get what you want, but if you try sometimes, you get what you need. And you try sometimes. The Rolling Stones didn't say try all the time. Try sometimes. And that gets you what you need. I don't need Coca-Cola and iPhone. I need Pepsi and Microsoft. Give me fucking Bill Gates giving people malaria or solving malaria or testing drugs out on people and buying up all the farmland. Give me Bill Gates doing that. I don't even know who's in charge of that. Is it Tim Cook still? I don't even know. Doesn't matter. I don't even think Bill Gates is in charge of Microsoft anymore. All right, Steve Ballmer had it right. He just like was like, get me out of the computer game. Get me into. He bought the Clippers. Like, he could have bought a real basketball team, and he bought the Clippers. Like, he's like, if you try sometimes, you get what you need. The fucking Clippers. Like, you don't need to be the Lakers. You can just be the Clippers. And guess what? You're still a millionaire. What a weird rant. But I think that stands true. You don't need to be 100% all the time. Yeah, that's the overarching. You don't need to be right 100% of the time. And you don't need to be wrong on purpose either. Right? That's just trying to be right in a different way. You're being strategically wrong. Go fuck something up. Try something cool. Like, that's why I was in a weird funk for like a couple of weeks when we moved here. That's because I'm just trying to be good. Like, just be good. Or, like, just do it. Like, not to make this a Nike commercial, but, like, you just have to hey, just try, kind of. Like, you're trying too hard. There's nothing worse than a try hard. There's nothing worse than somebody who tries to do everything right all the time, who's like, well, this is the way you're supposed to do it. So let's go to comics who listen to this. Who's more annoying than anybody who's like, I listened to the Rogan podcast. He says you need to hit 20 mics a week, and like you need 20 laughs per minute. Like whoever, like, oh, I listened to fucking, give me fucking random comic. I don't know. Let's say fucking Doug Stanhope says that you have to hit some, like, who cares? That's not how you do it. You're the one who's doing it. You're not fucking perfect. You don't have to be perfect. I don't have to do 20. I did 20 sets last month. I think that's pretty good. That's 2 out of every 3 days I'm on stage doing something. Is that top tier to some people? No. Are they doing fucking 3-4 mics in a night? Sure. Are they as funny as me? Most of them aren't. And that's not even being shitty. Like, that's just like a fact. Like, some people can do 100 open mics in a week and still be an open micer. Some people do 4 to 5, 6 a week and it works. And it's like, what are you doing it for? What are you being perfect for? There's no scoreboard on this shit. Like, who are you trying to be? You? Like, that's fine. Like, be better than you were yesterday, but like, who's keeping track? It's you versus nobody. Like, look around you. Everybody in your stupid life doesn't give a fuck about anybody but themselves. That's it. And I mean, I understand that it's stupid. Like, at the end of every one of these podcasts, I ask you to share it and forget that, like, people care about what, like, because people don't care about what you like. But, like, if you share something, they might be like, oh, I'll check this out. Like, that's useful. But nobody gives a fuck if, like, prime example, the fucking Algerian boxing lady who's just destroying noses. And, like, I don't even care. Like, I don't have, like, a stand. If she's a woman, and she's beating the brakes off of other women. If she's a man who, it transferred into a woman, but she, like, passes all the benchmarks to get into the Olympics, that's fine. Like, it's not to undermine it, we already did this, but, like, it's women's boxing in the Olympics. The stakes couldn't be any lower. Do we really need to argue about it? How impressive is it that she beat the fucking face off of her and just gets away with it? Let's say it is a man. Like, just beat the fuck out of this lady, and she's like, I win gold now. That's what I do. I'm from Algeria. They're probably from, like, a fucking, like, what's in Algeria? I think they're, like, communist or something crazy. I mean, communist isn't crazy. Algeria, it's in North Africa. Just east of Morocco, just west of Tunisia. People's Democratic Republic of Algeria. That's not usually a good start. It's a semi-presidential republic. I don't care if it's... I guess it's illegal to be gay or transgender in Algeria. So, like, I don't know. That kind of answers that. Or maybe they're like, hey, if you're going to be transgender, we could kill you, or we can send you to the Olympics and have you just absolutely destroy people. Like, just let them know that we've got the best one. But, like, you can't just be like, I don't know. Whatever. It doesn't matter, is my point. Like, you're just fucking, like... You're doing Olympic women's boxing. Like, it doesn't matter until some sort of thing comes up. Like, nobody was keeping track of this. They could have had it in an alley, and you would have been like, yeah, that's just kind of what they do in Olympic women's boxing. And you wouldn't have cared. That's how most things are. Until, like, you don't have an opinion on it. You don't give a fuck. You really don't. Like, trans people are people. They deserve to have a life, but you don't care what they do in a boxing ring, especially if they're from a country that's, like, it's illegal to be them. So, like, whatever. So, like, nobody gives a fuck, really. And so, like, you don't need to be perfect when you do your who gives a fuck. Like, I'm voting for blah. Like, do you know who the most annoying person is? I'm voting for Kamala Harris. I did my stupid email follow up or thing. Sign up for my email list. It's in my Instagram or something. I don't know. Find it. You'll figure it out. You're smart. And if you don't, fine, whatever. I like writing them anyways. But like, I'm voting for Kamala. I have to. Like, they gave me what I wanted. They got fucking dipshit out of there. Fucking Joe. I don't like Joe Biden, right? Like, they got him out of there. I have to vote for it. That's fine. Like, they gave me 3 out of 4 of what I wanted. Okay? That's pretty good. Like, but to go on fucking Facebook and just be like, I'm fucking caping for Kamala. And it's like, no, shut the fuck up. Like, you're not helping. You're being annoying. Like, the reason why nobody talks to you and you have a big online following is because you're fucking annoying. And as soon as somebody, like, that's the problem with, like, Trump. It's like, people will see, like, they'll see people being annoying about Kamala, and they'll be like, fuck it, I'm going to vote for the other guy just so these fucking people shut the fuck up. When that's not going to work, but, like, they won't shut up even if they vote for him. It doesn't matter. All right? So just, like, do the best you can and be nice. But, like, what do you do? What are you trying that hard for? You're not going to be Coca-Cola. You're not going to be Taylor Swift standing, looking over her shoulder, drinking a Diet Coke, like, all like, I'm from Middle America and I did it. And it's like, yeah, you're great. You're a billionaire. You fucking knocked it out of the park. But, like, you're not Taylor Swift. You're the one girl I can't even, like, you're fucking, God damn it. You're, exactly, right? That's who you are. I can't even think of it. That's who you are. The other chick, the one that, like, everybody's like, hey, they're talented, but, like, They don't have it together, okay? Like, that's you, and that's fine. Do your stupid thing, and just be your stupid self, and have fun with it. You don't need to be Coke, be Pepsi. That rules. Because in the fucking Pepsi challenge, nobody's gonna be able to tell the difference anyways. And it's not like, no, show up, feed your kids, make sure that your rent's due, don't end up on the street, and fucking die with some dignity. Make sure that, like, you don't ruin your family's name or whatever. Like, the bar is so low, and people think it's very high. Like, life is very easy when you just realize how fucking stupid it is, and how little you actually have to do. Like, dude, I love my neighborhood. It's wild. It's a wild time to be alive. It's so hot. But that's what I have to do after this. We're going to wrap this up in a minute. I'm just, like, ranting in circles at this point. Just be happy. Do what you want. Don't pretend to give a fuck about Algerian women's boxers. Not like whatever. You got it. Don't share Wikipedia as, like, a real source. Like, I saw somebody who did the fucking, like, that's why we're on it. He shared the story of, like, the Algerian boxer lady and was just like, don't really care. This is, like, I'm just sharing this for it to be shared. And, like, there's just a war in the comments. And, like, he did it on purpose. He did it to get into the algorithm. He's trying to do Coca-Cola shit when all you need to do is Pepsi shit. Like, who cares? And, like, somebody in there was, like, trying to, like, the Daily Mail, which, fine, Daily Mail's a fucking rag, that's fine, but they were like, here's some real facts, and just shared a Wikipedia link. Like, that's day one shit, guys. Wikipedia is not a real thing. Like, is it more, like, do I use it to learn things? Sure, but I'm never in, like, an argument with somebody. If I'm ever in an argument with somebody where I need to cite my sources, go back to 2017 and slap the fuck out of me, okay? Tell him to stop. He's wasting time. Put the sauce down. You're just drunk and bored. That's all you're doing. Like, you don't need to cite sources. You don't need fucking facts. If you're in an argument where you need facts, then you're doing it wrong, right? Like, you need to have arguments based off of vibes. You need to have arguments on, like, whether the fucking moon is real, okay, and what it really does. Like, you don't need to have real arguments. You don't need to post things online that, like, you know people will argue in the comments just to get fucking more comments and fucking do it, because you're fucking stupid. Because those are people in the Pepsi challenge. Those people in the comments are Pepsi challenge people. They would take the Pepsi challenge. They're going to have you have two choices, and you're either going to get it right or you're going to get it wrong. And either way, you're going to be like, they're the same choice, right? Like, that's what it is. And that's the default mode. It's not going to be anything, like, most of it's going to be the same except for, like, a few little things. And that's so much in life. And so it doesn't fucking matter. So, like, what are you just shooting for the stars for? Like, yeah, follow your dreams. Do shit like that. Fuck up. Like, who cares? Like, you want to live a perfect life and be a perfect person so you can go see the Sky Daddy? Like, no. You just fucking rock it out. Have enough money to get a casket at the end of it, and, like, move on. It's great. You don't need to be in the fucking algorithms about Algerian boxers. You're a fucking 55-year-old man. What are you talking about? What are you doing on Facebook right now? Get a real job or retire. Like, what are we doing? Leave space for fucking dipshits like me who have, like, another 20 years that matter in them. All right? And let us argue about Algerian boxers beating the fucking face off of women. I mean, look at the pictures. It's not, like, if she's a woman, she's a woman. Great. But, like, how is she in the same weight class? Like, that's what I'm more worried about. Like, what are they doing? Like, she's, like, 6'4", and the other lady's, like, a 5'8" Italian lady. Like, what do we do? Like, why are they in the same weight class? I don't even care if they're the same sex. They don't weigh the same. Like, what? They shouldn't even be fighting in the first place because they're not even the same fucking body type. Like, what are you doing? It's women's Olympic boxing. But I don't know. I'm sure everybody's going to have an opinion on it. And it's going to be, like, a day late. That's why I'm excited this is coming out tomorrow. Because, like, people will finally find out. Like, people who, like, aren't aware of everything all the time, it takes them a day. Like, all of, like, the Turkish guy who just, like, showed up and was, like, shooting targets with, like, a fucking BB gun. And we're like, oh, U.S. has never meddled in shooting. We have shootings all the time. Like, yeah, we've seen the fucking joke. You've seen the joke. That's why you made the fucking joke. Yeah, just shut the fuck up. All right? Like, Algeria, like, it's going to be in your timeline, and you're going to be pressured to have an opinion on it. You don't need one. Just be like, hey, man, it's women's Olympic boxing. That's the opinion. Like, should we, like, we don't care. It's not whether or not we should care. It's not what, we don't care. There's not even a question about it. You don't care. If I would have told you that women's Olympic boxing was a winter Olympic sport, you would have been like, yeah, that makes sense. It's inside. Why would you want to box when it's that fucking hot out? What is this? The fucking Rumble in the Jungle? Like, what are we doing here? We're not doing this. Put it inside. It's winter time. Like, that's a good time to fight. Like, everybody's got seasonal, they got SAD disease, seasonal affective disorder, or whatever the fuck. Like, that, you wouldn't even care. You don't even know that women's Olympic boxing was happening. And now you have to, like, defend this Algerian boxer or condemn this Algerian boxer when, like, this lady just wants to fucking beat faces off. That's all she's probably trained in, whether she's a woman or man or fucking transgender or whatever she, like, identifies as, and whether she was born a woman and has XY, fine. She exists. She's a person. I hope she has a great life. But she could, like, all these Olympians from these other small countries, they just pick a person, throw them in a lab, and find a way to make them just, she's Ivan Drago, right? She's just fucking juiced. She is a machine made to knock faces off of women every 4 years. That's what we need to be talking about. Is why do we have people knocking each other's faces off every 4 years? Just go to war. Right? Like, what are we doing this for? Like, Algeria's not going to touch us. Like, they have to, like, they're like, oh, this is one of our boxers. Imagine what we can do. It's like, shut the fuck up, Algeria. God, if we want to talk to you, we'll talk to Morocco first. Okay? Like, what? Get out of here. Go fucking, like, if you would have found out Algeria's good at the fucking airsoft guns, like, you'd have been like, that makes sense. Algeria seems like an airsoft gun place. But no, now I have to know about this lady, and, like, I have to say something about it. You don't, but, like, it doesn't make sense why. Like, who gives a fuck? all right, whatever. That's the end of that. I was going to talk about something else completely, but now we're 45 minutes into this on just nonsense about Pepsi and Algerian boxers. Things that truly don't matter at all. Like, so what if, like, trans people are people? That's great. So, like, you're going to fight this battle over a person. Like, the fact that it's illegal for someone to be trans or gay in Algeria is a defense on whether or not this person is trans. Like, are you thinking this through? Like, you're using, like, stupid laws that, like, criminalize this person potentially to prove you have to be right so much that you know about Algerian laws now. What are you doing? Go call your parents. Like, fucking they cared about you at some point in their life. Maybe not right away. Like, you were probably an accident, and then, like, somewhere in the middle there you guys didn't get along, but, like, call them and be like, hey, what do you know about this Algerian boxer? And be like, we raised you better than that. Like, even if they didn't raise you, you could have been raised by wolves, and the wolves raised you better than to care about the laws in Algeria about transgender boxers. Like, she matters. That Algerian lady matters. But her place on, like, in the zeitgeist does not matter. You didn't know that she existed. Next week, you're going to forget that she existed. They did this with fucking Brittany Griner. And we didn't even, like, I haven't even seen that yet. Like, people were wondering if Brittany Griner was a woman. And then, like, now they just make fun of her for getting caught smoking weed in Russia. Like, they forgot about that part. Like, she can fucking dunk a basketball, and they're like, that's a man. And then at no point were we like, well, the law is in Algeria. Like, what are we doing? Like, you're being like, hey, this place that, like, kills gay and transgender people, like, if they really were, they wouldn't have made it out of there. So, like, the fact that they made it out means that they're actually this. So, like, I'm right. Thank you. I'm a better person than you. And then people being like, hey, she's beating the faces off of Italian women. Like, but do you care? Like, they were on the bad side of World War II, and, like, they just completely skate just because your grandpa was Italian. Because you go to Fazoli's every once in a while, we're supposed to think that the Italians are, like, cool. Like, they like fascism just as much as the Germans. When's the last time you heard a fucking, like, joke about Italian fascists? You don't, right? Because you're fucking, because they look like us, kind of. Okay? Like, they have nice skin, and they, like, have pasta, because pasta rules. That's why you care about Italy. But no. Like, okay, whatever. I'm done. I'm done. It's so stupid. What the fuck are you people doing? Like, why? Why do we need to give a fuck? Like, it's the Olympics. Neither one of them are on our team. What are you watching for? Who gives a fuck? We didn't win. Pay attention to the things that we win. Gymnastics, basketball, fucking the baseball. I don't know if that's in the Olympics. Fucking sprinting. We got it. We fucking knocked it out of the park with our own fucking human engineering programs that we did a few hundred years ago when some people were working for free and others owned that. You know, like, maybe worry about our own shit. Like, quit trying to, like, who cares? Like, root for Sha'Carri Richardson, okay? Fucking, all right. Once we get our own fucking Ivan Drago in their beaten faces, that's what we want. Get our own. We shouldn't be worrying about whether or not she's a woman and we need our own. Going in there and smashing faces, okay? That's what we need. USA. USA. Wow. Who is Ray Roberts on everything? whoisrayroberts.com. We got shows. We got stuff. Go look. It's updated. Share the podcast. Check it out. Send me $1. I don't know. Send me $100. Send me money. That'd be cool. Make it so I don't have to watch other people's children to pay my bills. Okay? That'd be cool. Just send me money. But yeah, otherwise, have a good day. Live that Pepsi life. 3 out of 4 ain't bad. And if at any point you find yourself keeping track of Olympic women's boxing, just know you're wrong. You don't need to do it. Put down FanDuel. Put down Facebook. You don't need to do it. You have so much more to live for. Go read your Bible. All right, bye.